In this video, I'm going to review the Austin area real estate housing market statistics. If one bad sale in your neighborhood is a disaster for your home's value, the 4 types of homes you should sell this year, and what homes you might want to stay away from if you're buying, and why creating the buyer profile for your home is important if you want a positive return on investment for any home improvements, and who you should avoid listening to about real estate advice. I'm Eric Peterson, broker and owner of Copa Real Estate, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, subscribe to our channel, give this video a like, and leave me a comment. Let's get to the statistics for August 2021. We're still seeing huge increases in the year-over-year statistics. The big story is the huge month-over-month increases in average and median sales prices has dipped for the first time this year. As a reminder, these statistics cover the entire Austin MLS area. If you're interested in a particular area, you may want to check out one of our other videos or contact me directly. So let's start by looking at the listing inventory numbers. In August, there was a total of 3,969 sales, which is down 9.6% from last year, and slightly up from 3,846 sales in August of 2019. The number of new listings is up 15.3% to 4,873, and the number of pending sales is down 34.9% to 2,877. The months of inventory ticked up to 1 month. That means if homes continued to sell at the current pace and no new homes were listed, it would take 1 month before all of the homes were sold. So it's considered a balanced market between buyers and sellers when the inventory is 4 to 6 months. So this is still a strong seller's market, but we are up from a low inventory of less than 2 weeks back in March. If you're planning on selling a home in the next 6 to 12 months, be sure to sign up for one of our free online home selling workshops. Sign up today at copaworkshop.com. Now let's look at the average and median statistics. So the average sales price was up 24% from last August, but let's look at this chart showing the month-over-month average prices dropping from $589,237 in July to $566,159 in August. There was a slight dip in the average prices between July and August in 2019, so it's not necessarily a sign we're entering a long-term pullback in the market. Time will tell. So the average home sold for 3.3% over list price in August. That comes out to a sold price of over $18,000 more than list price, which is nothing to sneeze at, but down from June when homes were selling at 8% over asking price. And this is to be expected as list prices are going up. We aren't going to see that many homes selling for $200,000 over list price. For sellers, that doesn't mean the market isn't still great. But importantly, something important you should realize is that when you're pricing your home, you have to be careful about not pricing too low, because you may not get as much action and buyers bidding up the price as much as you would hope for. Anecdotally, this is what we've been seeing in the market, where fewer buyers are asking me if they need to pay 20% over list price to get an offer accepted. And for buyers, you should understand the market is still competitive, but not as competitive as a couple of months ago. For the great homes, you'll still have to come up with a great offer. And if you're buying, you have to be careful to be sure you have a great agent working for you and not just an agent who's giving you a rebate. Now, I closed a sale on one of our listings this week where the buyers received a rebate of around $4,000 from their agent. What the buyers didn't know is that their offer was $34,000 more than the second offer. So their agent never talked with me about the other offers we had for that listing, and the seller had instructed me to reveal the other offer prices. Imagine if they had an agent who is really on the ball as far as negotiating how much money those buyers could have saved compared to getting that small $4,000 rebate. So now buyers shouldn't give up, because this may be a small window of an opportunity to be able to buy a home. However, with the market not as hot, you really run the risk of overpaying if you don't have an experienced agent who's going to represent your interest. In this case, the buyers got a small rebate but paid way too much for the house. So the average number of days on the market has slightly increased to 13 days, but that's a whole month lower than last year of 43 days. This is the amount of time from when a home's put on the market until it goes under contract. Typically, sales with financing are taking another 30-40 days from contracting till closing right now. Now let's take a look at the median statistics for August. As a reminder, the median statistics mean if we lined up all the sales, the median sale would be right in the middle. Now, some people consider the median statistics a more accurate reflection of the trends in the market. The median sold price is up 34.2% from last year and still down $12,500 from July. The median sold price to list price is 2% over list price, down from 6% over list price in June. The median days on the market is holding steady at only 6 days, which is about where we've been all year. And that shows you, especially if it's a special home, it will sell fast and buyers shouldn't get overconfident and take too long to make an offer. The median is about a week lower than the average due to the average days on the market can be influenced easier by homes that have been on the market a very long time. Now let's take a look at some of the other important things I've come across this month. Often when somebody calls me to sell their home, they're worried about another recent home sale nearby that sold for a low price and how that will impact the sales price of their home. Now, many realtors will tell you that's a disaster and you'll have to sell your home at a discount. The truth is, one sale doesn't make a market, either a great sale or a disappointing sale. Now, here's a map of 3 home sales. The sellers for the home that sold at $810,000 hired a different agent, so I didn't sell that one. That price was a disappointing price for me and the owners of these other 2 homes because we were going to sell the other 2 homes and they were the exact same floor plan as the home that sold for $810,000. What we did is, rather than sell it at a discount, we took a much more aggressive approach with our marketing and attracted buyers for both of these homes that are open houses, where I could show them other comparable sales and demonstrate that the $810,000 home sold too low and the homes that we were selling were worth more than that. In the end, we sold the other homes for $855,000 and $875,000 only a couple weeks after the $810,000 home sold. So if there's been a disappointing sale recently in your neighborhood and you think maybe you're going to have to wait to sell your home at a great price, give us a call before you put your plans on hold. Now, whenever you're thinking about selling and putting together a make-ready plan, the first thing that you want to think about is the buyer profile for your home. Who they are, where they're coming from, and most importantly, what turns them on and what turns them off. And I'll be the first to say that developing a buyer profile isn't foolproof. The largest home I've ever sold was to a single man who wanted to host large poker parties. Sometimes you just get lucky. But counting on luck isn't a good strategy. When I met with the sellers of 15508 Belfin Drive, we discussed what we knew about the likely buyers for their home. We also talked about the competition because I knew there were going to be 2 other homes about to be listed on their street, and both of those homes have superior floor plans. Every home is different, but for this home, we knew the 2 most important things to buyers would be wanting a clean home and they'd want a home to be bright. So after living in the home with kids and dogs, the carpet was understandably not in the best condition, so that was replaced. And the countertops were dark and not attractive, so those were replaced as well. Now, most homes can be sold as is, but there's a difference between selling a home and selling a home for the most money. So if needed, we have contractors who work fast and are affordable. And by paying attention to the buyer profile for their home, the sellers of 15508 Belfin Drive sold their home for an extra $40,000 positive return on investment. So in comparison, the other 2 homes that were listed on the exact same street, neither one of them have sold. Both of them have been on the market for over 3 months now. Both of them, after being on the market, took the home off the market to do additional extensive make-ready. But of course, by that point, it was a little too late to catch the buyers at a great price, and I don't know what's going to happen to those sellers. Whenever you're ready to talk about a buyer profile for your home, call us at 512-791-7473. Now, this month, you should also check out another video we made about the 4 types of homes you should sell before next year. These are homes that have something that in a normal market would be a turnoff to buyers, but with little inventory, buyers are still paying record prices for these homes. And if you're a buyer, you should also check out that video to see the types of homes you should be careful about buying if we are at the top of the market. Now let's talk about being careful about taking advice. My favorite cognitive bias is called the Dunning-Kruger effect. And this is where people vastly overestimate their abilities because you don't know what you don't know. And because everybody lives somewhere, it's human nature to give real estate advice. It could be a case of where a little bit of knowledge causes people to give bad advice. In the last couple of weeks, I've been involved with 3 situations where people who are experts in one area of real estate are giving out bad advice about other areas of real estate where they don't have any expertise. So in one situation, an inspector told the buyer because of the plumbing fittings, the buyer wouldn't be able to get insurance for the house. As it turns out, I've owned a home for 13 years that's about 300 feet from this house with the same builder, and I've never had a problem getting insurance. And we had another closing where the mobile notary doing the signing told the seller she'd have to pay capital gains taxes. And that wasn't true, but it caused a great deal of anxiety for our client. And finally, a plumber hired to repair a water heater that wasn't working decided to give our clients advice about real estate contracts. And if our clients had listened to the plumber's advice, they would have really landed in some hot water. So all 3 of these people meant well. They all had good intentions. They just didn't know what they were talking about. And in the end, you'll be much better off getting insurance advice from somebody who's qualified to give advice in that area, for example. And now let's talk about foreclosures again. As we're coming to the end of governmental policies intended to limit evictions and foreclosures, I'm getting more and more people contacting me about buying a foreclosure. People are telling me if I know of a foreclosure they could buy for 65% of the value, to let them know. With the amount of equity owners have, even owners who just purchased a home with large down payments, we aren't expecting a huge increase in foreclosures. In addition, from what we're hearing from asset managers who oversee foreclosure sales, we expect mortgage companies will be doing a lot of extra steps to give borrowers every opportunity for relief. That doesn't mean some people won't be in trouble. It's expected many of the foreclosures we'll see will come from people who are behind on payments before any of this started. Foreclosure can be financially devastating for a family for years to come. And given the amount of equity most homeowners have right now, there are much better options available. So if you have any other questions about your options, call me for a no-pressure conversation. I'll continue updating you on the Austin real estate housing market. If you'd like to buy or sell a home, contact me today or leave a comment below. I appreciate you taking the time to watch, and I appreciate your support.